Before we get going with our slide rule system on how to do scales, and there's one for chords as well, you first want to make sure you've printed out your PDF file. Make sure you've got a cutter like this, or a scissors, and a nice ruler, preferably a steel one if you're using a cutter, or a steady hand for a scissors. And the first thing we do is simply cut on that red double line as I'm demonstrating now. So your page ends up in two halves like this. After this, we're going to show you how it works. The slide rule system for chords. Now, assuming that you've cut the page in half, you can see my one's already pre-cut. We want to see what this page is giving us, what information it has for us that's useful. In the key of C major, now we're working with sort of a grid reference. In other words, you've got a vertical and horizontal. C is opposite major, and the chord type, like triads, means I'm building the chord C major. So in the key of C major, I can also build a C major chord. Now later we're going to look at the brown and the green, but for now we're only working with the highlighted blue. So ignore those two rows for now. Back to the key of C major, the chord C major. The next note that the arrows are pointing at, if I'm working from left to right, would be D. If I were to start on the note D, I could build a D minor chord. Now for those of you that are studying music at school or wherever, you'll notice there are things called triads and quartads. And a triad is basically a fancy name for a major chord or a minor chord, also diminished chords. Quartads again are chords like major 7, capital M means major, lowercase m means minor 7. If it just says 7, it means dominant 7. And a quartat in essence is a 4-note chord. So 3-note chords are triads, 4-note chords are quartads. Okay, now getting back to this over here in the key of C major, I know I can build a chord C major in the key of C major. I can build D minor, E minor, F major, G major, A minor, and B diminished. Now where this information comes in quite handy is, say for example you're writing a song or you just want to jam a bit and you're having some fun with your mates and you think, gee, I wonder what chords would work well together. This tells you what chords work well together. So if I'm in the key of C, I could start on the chord C itself. I could maybe change to an E minor if I wanted to, maybe then go to an F major, then maybe to an A minor, and then maybe a G major. I can go in any sequence of these chords as the grid reference, the vertical and the horizontal, are giving to me. Now let's say you don't want to play in the key of C major, you want to play in the key of D major. This is where the cutting of the page in half comes in important. We've now lined up the note D opposite where it says major key, which means in the key of D major, I can build a chord called D major, which obviously makes sense, as well as an E minor, an F sharp minor, because remember the purpose of the arrows is to line up the type of triad, in other words, the type of chord, to a note. In other words, if I wanted to use a major chord, I could have A major, and obviously it has to be A major this side too, because if it didn't, that means I would have had bad typing skills. Okay. But whatever key I decide to play in, if I wanted to play in the key of A major, all I would do is visualize this sliding across like this. Okay, A major would give me an F sharp minor. I could use a B minor. Can't use a C because there's no arrow opposite C. So other information this is giving me as well is the arrows are pointing out not only the chord types that I can use in the key, in this particular instance A major, but also the notes. I can find A, B, C sharp, D, E, F sharp, G sharp, A. Those are the notes in the A major scale. Okay. Now what happens if you want to play in a minor key? You read a write-up and your favorite guitarist as well is playing in the key of E minor and you think, okay, fine. You take E, you take it to where it says minor key. Now E minor and G major are in essence the same thing. But the main difference being that if I say to E minor instead of G major, it gives you an indication into what the feeling of the song is like. In other words, I'm probably starting with a minor chord, which gives you more of a darker, sadder sound. We've opened with a G major chord, it give you more of a happier, sort of positive, lighter sort of sound. So by saying E minor or any minor, I'm just giving you an indication of the tonality or the mood that the song is being set. And because E minor has the same notes as G major, we say they're related. So those with classical training, I'm sure you know that it says in the key of C major, your relative minor is A minor. And you can also see your relative minor is always 1, 2, 3 frets down. We got that so far. So whatever key you want to play in the key of B flat major. No challenge, you take B flat, put it opposite major. Your relative minor is the key of G, because it's G minor. And the chords you can expect to see are C minor, D minor, E flat major, or D sharp major, F major, G minor again, simply duplicating itself from there. So basically, this is grid reference again. I'm repeating it because I want you to understand the concept, and you're looking at the type of chord, lining it up to the note, and you're putting the two together. Now, when you go from your relative major to a minor, like say for example A minor, you get keys such as the natural minor, the harmonic, notice where I'm indicating harmonic, in other words the brown, harmonic minor, and then in green, melodic minor. And this works on exactly the same principle, but it gives you different chords, because you might be playing a song and you say to yourself, well, okay, I'm playing A minor, G, F, E, and it sounds really cool. But in the key of C, I can have an A minor, that's cool. I can have an F major, that's cool. Sorry, G major, F major. And then I've got an E minor, and I said E major earlier, so either I said wrong or something else is happening. Now, if you were to play A minor, G major, F major, E minor, it would sound okay, but if you played E major, it would sound even better possibly. And we can get that chord from the harmonic minor, because you can see the different color coding now. Major is now lined up over here. So whatever key I want to change to now, let's say for example the key of E, because we can, other chords I can expect to find in the key that you wouldn't normally find in the blue row, you can now pull from the harmonic minor. Now there is reasons behind the whole thing. There are reasons that you will study when you look at the harmonic minor video on chord construction and the intervals and that. Right now, I'm not going to go there, it's going to take too long. The purpose of this whole page over here is to let you know that whatever key you decide, these are the chords that could work. Okay, obviously depending on the combination, but they will be justifiable. Now, interestingly enough, if you go back to C, check this with the harmonic minor. We're back to C major, and we're going to go to A, and then what happens when you go to this A harmonic minor? The note F. I can actually build a major chord, a minor chord, and a diminished chord, all from the note F. And that's quite cool, because sometimes you do get songs that go, for example, from an F major to an F minor in the same song. Things like that become clues, and the more you work with keys, the more the clues become obvious. So if you get a major going to a minor starting on the same root, you know you're playing with harmonic minor. So you're jamming something by whatever band, and the guy goes from a D major to a D minor. So you can say, okay, fine. D, there's my major and minor. Hey, I'm actually in the key of A major or F sharp minor. And that's how this slide rule can help us. And then lastly, the melodic minor also gives you different intervals, which in turn give different notes. And again, the purpose over here is not to justify why you got unusual chords like minor 7 flat 5s and augmented 7s and a minor with a major 7. Remember, lowercase m is minor, capital uppercase is major. And here we got chord details on the side which says lowercase is minor, uppercase is major. So all that is covered over here. The sole purpose of this is to let you know what chords we can expect in any key you want to play in. And it's working on a grid reference one more time. So I'm repeating a lot of things because we want to get to know the concept. If you want some more information, here's my details on the side. You can WhatsApp me. You can email me. And if you want to support me on Patreon or visit my YouTube and subscribe, that'd be really cool as well. And looking forward to hearing from you. Keep the music alive and well, and I hope this makes sense. If you can understand this over here, you will see how simple music can become. And then at the bottom, just for a bit extra, I'll put some basic bar chord shapes. Obviously, to put all the music onto one page would be physically impossible, or one hell of a big page. Okay, so we're just looking at little sections to understand, and just like we said, some basic bar chord shapes as well to help you along. Have an awesome week. Take care.